Okay, good morning, Wiggle here. So here's our, it's like 11 cubic foot refrigerator or whatever. It is off grid. It's run on solar panels and batteries. The problem is I'm having is this right here. See how that's not on? So we're trying to live a life without using a lot of refrigeration, but this little refrigerator for 5 people, it needs to stay cold because it's like our meat and milk and stuff. It doesn't last as long as it should. Some of the other stuff's okay. Cheese, dairy lasts, cultured dairy lasts a little longer, but the milk and the meat, you can't really leave it in there. Now we do have another deep freeze downstairs that's converted with a temperature controller to make the deep freeze. It's a small chest freezer. That is also a refrigerator. So we put our bulk down there that we just kind of work out this one in the kitchen. Problem is it's not running. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to fix that. And it's consistently not running. And it's the middle of summer. So you know the panel's getting plenty of sun. So at this point, I'm going to go up in the attic and show you what is running this thing. The wires are just running down from the wall, inside the wall, from the attic down to here. You might be able to see it back there. So that's just a positive and a negative. So I'm going to go up in the attic and show you the rest. Okay, so here we are. I have these are 3.2 volt cells. I think they're about 200 amp hours each, like 202 or something. So you put all these together, and that's 12 volts at 202 amp hours. Then I use 2 different sets, and that equals 12 volts at 402 amp hours. 0.4 kilowatts. So I have, this will be my alright, so here's green will be my ground. So this ground here is hooked to that ground there. So they're in parallel, not in series. This am I missing a wire here? What's going on? Oh, I'm using a bus bar to jump it. Okay, I was like, where's my other wire? Right here's the bus bar jumping it. And this will be my hot leg. So yes. So the neutral sides are tied together and the positive sides are tied together. This is where they run together, the bus bar, and this is just a single wire. This is number 8 running up to this thing. So what is happening is this is a maximum power point tracking MPPT solar charger, but we don't have enough power. So I need to figure out, there's the model. I've of course lost track of what it is and where the model is. Anyway, I'm going to figure out this model number, see how many volts it can have coming in, and it's not charging the batteries enough. During the day the fridge comes back on, but it never builds up enough power to run through the night. It just runs a little bit into the evening and then dies. So I got to figure out how much solar I can hook to this thing and try to get those batteries up during the day. So I'm going to have to, I can't read this model number in the dark. So what I'm going to do is figure out the model number and then I'll let you know. Oh, I should have a flashlight. Well, hold on a second, alright? Okay, I got some light on the situation. So there's the specs. The panels are 24 volt, and the maximum solar power that this thing can handle is 520 watts. I got a 320 watt panel. So 320 watts times 2 is 640. So I would be putting 640 watts to this thing, and it can only handle 520. So I need to go figure out. Now, what I do see is the maximum charging current is 20 amps. I know that those panels are not going to go over 20 amps, because at maximum they're like 9.5 amps. So even in perfect orientation, 100% efficiency, they're never going to go over that 20 amps. So my point being is I think I might be able to get away with it. Maximum load power. We're not going over that. 480 watts. So what this MPPT controller is doing is taking the 24 volts from the panels, which it is getting power right now, and it's running the load first, and then it's charging the battery second. And when it gets too low, it won't run that fridge. When the power drops too low, it just stops, and the batteries aren't picking it up. Now the batteries are fully capable of holding enough charge. They're just not getting charged up. So my challenge is how do I not burn this thing up and yet have enough power to get through the night. So I'm thinking of hooking up another 320 watt panel, but oriented the opposite direction. And what will happen is one panel will pull down the other. Even in the sunlight, it's going to equalize between the two panels. And I don't think I'm ever going to get over my 520 watts. As long as if I pointed both panels in the same direction, it might. So I'm risking this charge controller is like 80 bucks or so, maybe 100, I'm not sure. I am kind of chancing it. My issue is my panels are 24 volts and my fridge is 12 volts. It will only take 12 volts. I mean, it'll go up to 14 or 15 or whatever, but it's not going to take the 26 volts or whatever that a 24 volt battery is going to put out. 28 volts, whatever it is. It's going to just be too much, going to fry it. So right now I'm relying on this charge controller to step down the panels and step up the batteries to the point where the batteries are okay, nothing's getting damaged, and then the fridge is running off of that. So I'm going to go ahead and I only have another 320 watt panel, so I'm going to just go ahead and use it and see how that goes. Now, here's where the wires run through the ridge cap, and I cut off the I have it marked, which is good. So I cut off the MC4 controllers because I got to get it through the hole in the roof. I didn't want to make a big hole, so I made a small hole. Just put the wire through. So this white one will be my positive. The one that's solid black is my negative. I do have some red tape I'll bring up. So I'm going to just run those panels together, and I'm going to hook positive to positive and negative to negative. It'll remain in 24 volt range, but it's going to push up the amps. And hopefully that's going to not fry this converter, but it's going to charge the batteries. So I am risking it a little bit. So there is no step down converters or anything, so this is the most efficient way to change 24 volts to 12 volts. So I'm going to show you how I mount the panels now. Okay, I've looked up my charge controller, and it is the 20 amp version, but all of them say the same thing here. It says protects the battery, automatic limit for maximum PV input power, Should the PV input exceed the rating, the controller will simply limit the throughput to the rated level. So if I am actually doing 640 watts and it only wants 540 watts, it's not going to fry it. It's just going to limit it down to 540 watts. And that's all ideal. 640 being produced would be ideal. So it's likely not going to be that anyway. So, and I'm going to have the panels oriented in opposite directions. What I need to do is get a way to measure watts coming out of panels. I don't have a watt meter. I need to get a watt meter. So anyway, I think I'll be fine. I don't think I'm going to fry this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I hook up the panel up there and try to keep this refrigerator working all day and night. Because I'm pretty sure the batteries are fine. It's just the amount of solar going in is just not enough. Okay, here I am up on the roof. Here's my 320 watt Jinko panel, half cell, monocrystalline, 120 half cells, which is same as a 60 cell. So it's putting out, in theory, 320 watts, 9.5 amps at top rating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another one right on the opposite side. I might just match them up, because pointing it to the north, it's always going to drag it way down. That just seems silly. I guess I'll just put it on the front here. I'm thinking about it, and just the way the sun goes, by the time winter rolls around, it's definitely going to have a problem. So I slid a new vent stack flashing on there. The one that was on there was rotten. Then I have some missing shingles. I have no idea why, but I'm going to go ahead and fix those while I'm up here. And I'm going to take off my antenna. This is a CB antenna, so it's just getting worn out sitting up here. It's not really, it's more of a portable size. So that's I'm going to patch the missing shingles, get the solar panel on, and glue a couple shingles on. Just for now. This whole roof is going to get redone. I'm going to put metal on it. And then I'm going to put solar over the whole roof, which will really extend the life of it. This roof isn't good enough to put solar over, because I don't want to develop leaks underneath all that solar. I want to take the solar off, put the metal on, then put the solar. And then be good to go for hopefully at least 25 years without having to get up here and mess around. So anyway, that's it for now. I was going to show you. Those are, I'll show you the brackets in a minute. They're for like wild, like rough lumber stairs. And then I just use stainless hardware on them. And then it actually works pretty good because it's a hinge, so it adjusts itself. You don't have a whole lot of trouble mounting it. It just mounts right up. And it's held just fine, and it also leaves you a little bit of a gap. They probably would want more gap between your roof and that, but at least there's something to keep some airflow underneath that panel. So I'm going to go drag and get another panel, put the hinges on, then I'm going to drag it up. Per the usual, I'm searching everywhere, high and low, for my stupid hardware or whatever I need to get the job done. Finally found my stainless stuff, and it turns out that all I have are these. And they're way too short. They're like ½ inch, including the shoulder and everything. So what I have here is there's two pieces of aluminum, and when you drill through both of them, I'm putting a 1-inch bolt in there. So I need 1-inch stainless bolts, which I don't have. So I'm just using this galvanized, and I'm just holding this bracket just like that, leveling it up, the edge of this with the edge of that, and then I'm just drilling my pilots, then drilling a bigger hole, and then I will show you how I'm bolting this stuff up. To try to minimize electrical activity, I will replace these with stainless bolts later when I do the roof. But right now I'm just going to get this panel up. So I will show you. This is one that's done. So I got the hole, put a stainless washer on the galvanized, put that through, and then I got a stainless washer, got the steel bracket, another stainless steel washer, and a stainless steel nut. And I know all that is, if it's not all stainless, it's not that effective. Right now it's going on just a regular fiberglass shingle roof, so there's not going to be a lot of electrical activity. But later on, when this is screwed to a metal roof, you better believe there's going to be some activity going on. So when I put metal roof on, I will change all of my hardware possible to stainless. I have to leave the steel bracket though. Where wouldn't you find that in stainless? I don't think you would. So anyway, I'm going to just drill this set of holes. I got to do this on both sides. I'm using these 1/3 markers. So you got 2 fasteners. You want to go 1/3 of the way on the panel for the maximum strength. Just the corners have some strength to them. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and drill my thing out and get this up on the roof. I'm going to cut the M3/4s off because I need to be able to fit through the hole in the roof. Alright, so we got the natural rail hinges on there, for hardware for stairs. This part will just go to the roof, and it's adjustable to any angle, so I don't have to figure all that out. I just lay it up there, put it flat, and screw them in. So that's kind of cool. So they're all on there, and we're ready to put it on the roof. Alright, sorry I didn't show us mounting that thing up there, but there's the second panel. I used these kind of screws right here to just go down to the roof, and I just put silicone on the front and back of those little hinges, and screwed them right in. And then I brought the wires down through the roof. I should have showed you that, but I didn't. I'm going to go up in the attic now and hook this other panel up. Alright, there's the 2 wires coming through the roof. And I stripped them and I spliced them using numbered 10 Romex. I just used this whole piece. I was going to strip it and just use the 2 insulator wires, but I just used the whole thing. So just red wire caps to extend the length of those wires. Now I'll show you what I do at the other end. So everything else being equal, we've just doubled the ampacity. So we added another 24 volt panel, and it was at 9.5 amps. Now we doubled that and now it's 19 amps max. That box is good for 20 amps. So we'll see if it gets too hot or whatever. But now we've doubled the charging capacity. I mean, during the day, the sunlight is going to hopefully top those batteries off. We'll get through the night with the fridge. So all I did was wire into what I already had wired. So that was simple enough. So now we're live and running. And I'll let you know if we get through the night. It's a cloudy day today, so if we charge up today and run all night, we are definitely good.